Hello, everyone. Welcome to our very first episode of our podcast, Uncharted Waters. I am Adrian, and this is my co host.
Margarita. Hello, Adrian. How are you?
Hi, Margarita. How are you?
I'm all right. Let's
You
start it.
seem
Let's
alright. You
start
look
it.
alright.
Mm, Thank you, love. You look fabulous yourself.
I
Ooh,
try.
ooh, ooh.
I try. So, what are we going to talk about today, Margarita? Tell me.
So, we are going to talk about a little bit about our background, who we are, and we're
Mhm.
going to talk about identity and how our experience of living in the United States and being immigrants shaped our personalities and our perception of the world.
I was born in Ecuador. I came to the US when I was 14 years old with my dad and my brother, basically looking for a better future. Like, unfortunately, in third world countries, we don't really have probably the economy or the resources to actually be somebody or the opportunities that the US has to offer.
Mhm.
So that's the main reason why we came here. What about you?
So I came here when I was 19 and I didn't speak English and I didn't really know anybody here. So the first destination was New York City because New York is a melting pot and you have all of their all of the cultures, all of their nationalities, and I thought that it's like the easiest place to establish myself in the United States. So I came here using J1 visa, and then I changed it to F1, which is like a student visa, and then I stayed here and got my green card, and it was pretty like interesting experience because first I came to Virginia, and it was like I was like Jesus, like I was looking, for some adventure. I was looking for some fun. I have never been anywhere, only in Russia, and I was like, this is going to be amazing. And I was
And
in
how was
Virginia.
Virginia?
Oh my God, like, do I need to say it? It was like, it was really like there's nothing to do. So you basically do absolutely nothing the entire day and except working as a lifeguard, which is another story. So after being there, after being there for 2 weeks, me and my best friend decided to run away and we broke the contract. We shouldn't have done this, but we broke the contract and we ran away to New York City to see this amazing place to like achieve our dreams. So it was like very I was 19, it was like everything was like super romantic and super like super interesting. So I came by myself and it's like I think it's their different experience.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I will say that I was probably like lucky because I already had family here. So when I came with my brother and my dad, like part of my family was already here, so the transition
Mhm.
was a little bit easier in that sense. Like I wasn't alone, even though I left my mom, which is a big part of me, and I was missing her a lot, of course. But other than that, like the language definitely was, like a challenge that I had. I was only 14 years old when I came here, and I did some English classes in Ecuador, but it wasn't the same as actually being here and taking everything in English, and all the
Mhm.
classes were in English, and you just go out and everybody's talking to you in English. So it was definitely one of the challenges that I had. Everything was different, basically. I left everything behind and I came into literally a new world, and definitely language was one of my challenges. Yeah. What about you?
Um,
What was one of the challenges that you had?
well, definitely language and culture itself. And because I was here by myself, I think I was quite lonely first few years. Well, to be honest, forever. Because now I'm by myself in Denver, so bitch, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty the loneliness and not having enough money because when we were like coming here, we only have like $700 with us. So it's like we found some shady, weird room in Brooklyn with some Russian people,
Mm.
which cost a lot of money because they're trying to use like immigrants because they don't know anything. And also later on in my life, I have found that being a Russian woman is something, especially if you live in Brooklyn, is something what people like have stereotypes about. There are some assumptions and they're not always the pleasant ones.
Is that still happening today?
Well, since I'm not living in New York at the moment, it is happening here that people start asking me about my accent, and it's pissing me off to be honest, because you can be in the middle of the conversation and they will be like, oh wait, where's your accent from? Or wait, do I hear the accent? And I'm like, dude, I hear this every single day, like chill. Yes, I do have an accent, and I think New York is better in this way, because we spoke about you before and you told me that you embrace your accent because it makes you unique, right?
Right. For me, it's like the opposite. Yeah, because we mentioned before that you had these issues. I mean, of course, people do notice my accent because I do have an accent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was the same way. Like at the beginning, I was just like, oh my God, like I do have an accent. Like I don't sound like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Like sometimes they won't understand what I'm saying. But like I said, like I have actually learned to embrace that because it is one of my identities. It is what
Mm-hmm.
makes Adrian who he is. And instead of like putting me down, I actually take advantage of it. I say it as, you know what, I'm different.
In your personal experience, have you ever felt different for who you are, that you've been like the immigrant from Ecuador, that you for like your sexual orientation, the way how you dress up, the way how you show yourself, have you ever experienced some difficulties with who you are?
Yeah, well, with the accent part, I mean, I do have people who will notice it, but like I haven't really gotten anything like bad for me to actually be like, oh no, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But probably when I came here, I would say, since the culture was so different and the kids were different, I could say that I was lucky that I wasn't really like bullied at high school, which was
Mm-hmm.
also something that it's very common here in the US. Because like in my country, yeah, like you have regular like kids games, and yeah, you will fight with a kid here and there, and you will have fights, but like I didn't see it as dominant as here, meaning like in here, I feel like a lot of people get bullied because of one, two, three, or whatever reason it is. So in Ecuador, it wasn't like that. Like you will still have like this type of like bullying, of course, but like it's not as severe as it is in the US. But
Mm-hmm.
luckily, I don't think like in high school, I was very popular. I'm a
Oh wow.
dancer, so I used to be in
Surprise,
all this.
surprise.
I used to be in on like all these crazy like dance groups. So I
Mm-hmm.
knew a lot of people. A lot of people knew about me.
At this moment, you're like dying. A lot of people knew about me. I was very popular.
What about you when you got here? What were you bullied? Like, do you had any kind of like
I
um
think, like in terms of, well, all these conversations about like because it's a huge problem in the United States, because kids are being bullied all the time. Here, I think because we both are extroverts and you're Latino, I'm Russian, like we don't we gotta like
we
cut
don't
this right
take
away.
for
Yeah, I'm like, we
nobody?
don't take any, yeah, we're
Right.
like, shut the hell up, like, nah, so it
No.
was situation, yeah, like, it was a lot of situations where people were trying to take advantage of you. So like my first year, my first 3 months in New York, I was like looking for a job desperately, and I was like trying to do anything. And when I was working at the restaurant, which I mean, I'm not sure if I do want to say like the name of this place. I'm not sure if I want to reveal all of the information, but it was in Manhattan Beach, and I like you didn't really need to speak English there. But like the owner of this restaurant, so when he was taking me to this job and hiring me, he thought that I will sleep with him, and I had no idea that it's actually a thing. And I was 19, so I was like, and I felt like his wife didn't like me a lot. And I was like, I don't understand why, but it's like that's the job, like I'm taking it because like there's no like I'm taking this
You need the
opportunity,
money,
you need
right?
the, yeah. And I was like, that's very interesting. And I mean, it's all like Russian, Ukrainian, Russian Jewish community in Brooklyn. And he was like, he was so surprised that I didn't know about this. He's like, this is what all the girls do. He's like, this is what all immigrants do when they
Oh wow,
start, yeah, then they
that's
start working at the,
crazy.
it is. And it was like 9 years ago, right? So it was like, this is normal experience.
Wow,
Like, why are you so surprised? And I'm like, dude, I'm working there. It's not like like
right? I
like
mean,
I'm working. Like,
right.
why do I'm not quite sure this. It's not like sugar dating experience or
I'm
whatever.
pretty sure a lot of, especially women, go through this a lot. Like we see it every
Hmm.
day. Like it's a social problem, which is sad.
It is.
Um,
And I think because of my personality when I was like, so what happened is, like, long story short, he lived in the same avenue as I did. And he was like driving me home or driving some other guys from the kitchen, like chefs and everybody else. So like he was like
mhm.
driving us home like after the shift, which was like 11, 12, like super late. And I thought this is normal because he lives close by,
Right.
right? You don't really think that it's something like inappropriate
But he wants to
because,
take advantage of the situation,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So that happened like for a month or so. And once, they like chefs, cooks, they are finishing their shifts. Like we sitting on the table. I'm sitting on the right side. He's sitting on the left side, and it's late. And I'm like, "Are we like going home?" He's like, "Yeah, let's wait for them." I'm like, "Okay, sure. Like it makes sense." They finish in their shifts. They like cleaning the kitchen. They like getting out of the kitchen, and they walking towards the exit. And I'm getting up because I'm thinking like we're going
We're
to
living,
leave.
right?
We're leaving because they're leaving. So I'm like, we were waiting for them. So I was leaving too. So I was like, I getting up, and he's getting up first, and he's sitting closer to the exit. So he's getting up like, I don't know, a few seconds first, and he is leaving right after them. So they're exiting the restaurant. He goes right after, and he closes the door from the inside. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
god.
fuck. Like,
Damn. And you were how old?
19. He was 59. So just, it's not some
Disgusting.
pretty guy. Yes. And he's like turning, like, and
Also, if he
looking
was
at
a
me.
pretty guy, you would let him.
But who knows? Who
I mean, I
knows?
will.
Now everybody knows who we are, Adrian. We're supposed to. We're not supposed to reveal our
Right,
personality, not yet.
right.
There's now everyone's like those two. The way how I exit the situation, I didn't get raped, but he took my hair, like he took me by my hair, and he dragged me into a bathroom,
Oh
and
my god.
I pretended that I'm like in the process, not in the process, but I was like, he was like touching my hair, and I was like letting him do that. And the moment he turned around, I took his hat and I smashed it with hair dryer, and
Oh, shit.
it's a Russian style.
Oh, you were not
Russian.
playing, girl.
No, I'm not, dude, I'm not like,
And that's
I'm
a
playing with.
19.
And this is my no, actually much more normal now, I think. But I crushed his hat and then ran away, and I never came back. And I never came back for my stuff, and I never came back for my last check. And it was like pretty crazy experience, and it was not the
Wow.
only one. What I found interesting about you is your situation with your mother, that you were living apart for a really long time. Can you
Yes, that
like?
was definitely one of my challenges when I got here. Like I was very close to my mom. And for me to like literally live her, it was like heartbreaking. Like I would cry every day, and I was only 14. So like a 14-year
Mhm.
old, you still need your mom at that point. You still need somebody to be the mother figure, and especially like I feel like my mom is one of the most amazing persons that I've ever met, and one of the
Mhm.
most persons for me to have in my life. So of course, yeah, like I will, miss her a lot. But also like those are one of the things that kept me in ground and kept me with my goals set and be like, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I want
Mhm.
to do, so that I can actually also bring her and do her papers as well, because she was
Mhm.
divorced with my dad, so they didn't talk for all these years. And if you're under 21, you cannot do nobody's papers. You have to be legally 21 for you to like request your mom's
Well, unless you
or your
marry your mom,
parents.
which I think is.
Yeah. Which I don't think is gonna be an option. Can you imagine? Exactly.
So
So
dark humor.
yeah, I will say definitely that that was one of the most painful parts of my first years in the US. But again, that's just lessons, those are lessons that life
Mm-hmm.
give you for you to like learn something. And for me was just to like be stronger and have my goals set and know and learn what I really want to do in life and how to, get her here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. I turned 21, I did her papers, and she was here in 6 months.
Cool. Well, good
Uh,
job. Good
that's
job.
it.
Yes. Yeah. And you live together now, right? You live with your
We
family.
do live together now, yes. So
And you
actually,
enjoy
after
it, right?
12 years of them being divorced, they actually got back together. After 12 years.
So this is some Latino story.
Like,
This this is
it's
some
like a novella or something. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I wouldn't do that. I don't want to come back to any of my exes. But like after 12 years, I guess it's different once you have kids and you have,
I think so,
like
yeah.
that was her first man, her first everything. So it hits different.
And I think it's also
Um,
different generation. They had different
True.
and like dating life in New York,
They
which
still
will
believe in love. Love was
yeah.
still real back
And we
then. We
do
didn't have
not.
all this social media, all these
Yeah, yeah,
apps.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is
I mean,
true.
that's
That
going
is
to
very
be
true.
definitely a topic for our future
It will be.
podcast because this is something we both have a
Social
lot
media
to share.
relationships.
Yeah,
For
oh yeah,
sure.
for sure. Like, especially, I
For
think
sure.
New York is like, but no, no, it's not only New York because I think
It's
it's
also where you are.
oh my god, yeah, Denver is interesting. Trust me. I'm like, huh?
Really.
Like what? But I think it's generation. Like they valued and also cultures because like my culture is pretty like patriarchal and we
Right.
believe in like family values that we
And
should
marrying
like
and kids, right? And here's a
yes,
little bit more
yes, yeah.
liberal, I will say, especially this generation. But like the U.S. is
Mm-hmm.
definitely more liberal than
Yeah.
other countries for sure. You know.
Yeah. And how do you feel about having kids? Will you ever think about adopting a child or
I do like. I mean, honestly, like I don't like every kid. Like it's not like, oh my god, I'm in love with every kid, because I'm not, honestly. But like
yeah,
there
like
are kids that have actually like won my heart. I'm just like, oh my god, they're so cute. And the fact that to
mm-hmm.
think that me as a male gay man can actually adopt or even have artificial insemination, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's nice to know that I have a possibility to actually have a kid that it's
Mm-hmm.
mine.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ready yet, because for the same reason, because I
Mm.
want to feel like I'm already 100% successful. Like I feel like I
Mm-hmm.
want to bring a kid into this world that I will give everything that he needs to have a great future. So, but yeah, I mean, that's something for me to consider. I feel like if everything was given to me, I wouldn't be able to appreciate everything that I have, because I know what it feels to like literally have nothing and to create
Mm-hmm.
something. So yeah, definitely everything that I went through in Ecuador, or my family, I still have family that I still help out back in my country, because now I'm able to. So yeah, those are things that definitely shape
Mm-hmm.
you, and that's another example how privileged people, like, they will never understand that. And that's why sometimes I don't, they take for granted a lot of things, and that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
the, the
Mm-hmm.
main reasons that we see now in society. What about you? Do
Mm-hmm.
you want to have any kids?
Um, like the thing is because I think it's a huge responsibility to have a kid, and I think it's something what takes a lot of work, a lot of time. And since I'm like studying psychology and I understand how every little thing that happened to you in your childhood is affecting of who you are right now, and it's like you have a pretty difficult childhood or relationship with your like primary care providers that will definitely affect your future relationships and the way how you communicate and interact with people, or especially the romantic part of relationship, which we will definitely talk about. Yeah, because it's like oof. And I'm thinking that it's everything is super important. So when I want to have my kid, I want to have everything, possibly like everything I have to give and provide him with like good education, good medical system, good not system,
Right.
like services, everything. So it's like I'm taking it like the way to responsible. So I'm not going to be just like, yeah, somehow it's going to
That's the
work
smart
out.
way to do it, I believe. Everyone, I think it's like, they're the owners of their own decisions. But I think that's the smartest way to do it, because you don't want to bring in
Mm-hmm.
a kid and not be able to provide him what he needs and make him suffer because he didn't ask to come into this
Because we
world,
already suffered enough. Like we know what it.
Exactly, we know exactly because we
Yeah.
already know.
We started this podcast because we thought that it's going to be interesting to share our own personal experience on things. And we also thought that, like, in our ideal world, we want to create community where people will support each other, where people will be honest about their experiences, and they will be like open-minded that people are different, that they're coming from different backgrounds, and they actually help each other.
The main goal of the podcast that we're doing, it's just to put it out there. It's just to for people to actually listen. If somebody maybe went through the same stories that we went through, for them to be like, okay, I'm not alone. Because
Yeah,
these are topics, and not just today, but like we are gonna be talking a lot about a lot of topics that people face, and it's important to have somebody to actually tell your story to
hmm,
listen to you, and you will see it from a different perspective as well, because if
for
something
sure.
happens to you and it happens to me, like the accent, for example,
Yeah.
it kind of bothers you or something, but then for me it's different, so we will see two points of view,
Hmm.
and we will like embrace each other, and that's going to be very interesting to know.
Yeah, and I think like at the end of the day, we're like all humans, and we share similar problems and similar experiences. And I do really enjoy when people feel free to express themselves and to actually
For
help each
sure.
other and become more happy for not only getting to know other people, but also for kind of like establishing their own identity and feeling comfortable about it.
Exactly. Like
So
loving
yeah,
your own skin, basically. Like feel
yeah.
proud about yourself, about who you are, even the flaws. Like we should embrace our flaws because that's what makes us different. What you think it might be a flaw, it might be something that somebody else likes about you. So
Well, it can
definitely,
actually be a flaw and you need to work on that, but you know. That was our first episode of our amazing podcast. The name
I
I
am
can't
so excited to
pronounce.
actually be doing this with you, Margarita. I know we're
Yes.
gonna have a lot of fun, and I hope we get a lot of following,
Mm-hmm.
and all these people who actually want to comment, share it, talk to us.
Mm-hmm.
We will be available for any type of questions, concerns,
Yes.
any topic that you
Request.
guys think
Yes.
about. Yeah, request that because it's very interesting to know what you guys feel or what you guys want to talk about.
Yep.
This is something new that we're trying out. We don't have any
Yep.
type of like outline guidelines, so it's kind of like just
As you
doing
can
our
see,
thing and just putting it. It's just raw
it's a
material.
beautiful mess. Feel free to reach out. Feel free to request topics and message us, and we're gonna be your hosts
We will see
for
you soon, of course. We
yes.
will have a topic every week, guys. So every week we will be recording and talking about a different topic. So we will for sure need your help when it comes to different topics. So hit us up. We will put our social media down here, somewhere
Mm-hmm.
over here. So yeah, all right. Okay,
Okay.
Margarita,
Have a
it was a
beautiful
pleasure
week.
to speak to
Oh,
you.
mwah,
You
mwah.
too. I love
It
you.
was a lot of
Talk to you
fun. Love you,
soon.
baby.
Bye
Bye, guys.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.